Hello, world! Today, we'll be building a bone meal farm. If there's one thing I learned about putting all those bricks around the island, it's that hay does not seem to grow itself. So I'm left with two options. Expand my wheat farm till it covers the entire island, or use this pond to grow bone meal. I've already filled this pond with kelp. I did that in the last video, but didn't bother recording it because I didn't think it was important. It's actually why I was able to get so much hay. I decided to expand upon that and raise the pond's water level along with the size of the pond. So, I'll be digging around it and squaring it off, increasing its size and pretty much turning it into a bone meal manufacturing plant. Step 1 in this process is to dig a trench around the pond. I intend on digging the trench just as deep as the pond is and squaring it up. I'm probably not going to increase the size of the pond, I'll just work with what I have. After all, space is a premium on this island. The digging process is going to take an enormous amount of time. Luckily, I have the magic of video editing. It's shaping up. Now I have to dig the hole as deep as the pond is. I don't plan on making the pond itself any deeper for fear of hitting my lush cave and flooding out my mine. This project is big enough it warrants its own crafting table. A little tiny base camp will help me drop off dirt without having to run back to my house. I'm starting to think I'm underestimating how much iron this project is going to cost me. Oh, and by the way, in the middle of digging, this happened. Nothing like getting mining fatigue in the middle of a digging project. This means I'll have to carry a milk bucket around. Except I don't have any actual cows, only mushrooms. Looks like I'll have to do the unthinkable. A beautiful, majestic creature, downgraded to a common bovine. Oh well. Moving on then. Now that I have a milk bucket, I'm immune to the effects of mining fatigue. The fatigue sets in about every 2 minutes since I'm so close to that elder guardian over in the ocean monument. I really should fight that thing, but I feel like I should save that for a special occasion. I'm almost done, but I ran out of iron. Without an iron pick, this project is just going too slow, so I'll have to fight creepers down in the mine until I get some more. I nearly died of fall damage once or twice, but 36 iron is certainly nothing to complain about. I'll be heading back up to finish the project. The step of digging the hole out is complete. Now, the next step is to upgrade all of these to water source blocks instead of flowing water blocks, and of course install some kind of manual harvesting system. This manual harvesting system is why I'm making the kelp farm tall instead of wide. If I had a manual harvesting system, I would want the kelp farm to be incredibly wide so that I have as many kelp as possible producing for me at the exact same time. However, since I'm harvesting it manually, I want the kelp to continuously grow tall. That way its growth will never stop just because I'm not harvesting. The kelp farm is already producing a large number of kelp. That means I can convert it to bone meal and grow trees twice as fast. Oh, and for those of you who don't know this handy little trick, take a ladder out with you when you're cutting trees. It allows you to climb up the tree and use it like a step stool without having to place blocks. You can save some durability on your axe this way. Just plop the ladder on the side of the tree. Don't break off the ladder like an idiot. Then jump up the ladder and cut the tree down from the top. I would say the most expensive part about this build is the granite layer I put in between each door layer. The granite layer doesn't grow on its own, so I have to go down the mine and dig it up each time. I don't normally dig up granite because I don't like its red look, but it's the only thing that goes well with this wood, so I'll be mining it for a while. The wood has been the easiest part. This is a bone meal farm after all. Now that the outside is starting to shape up, it's time for me to drink my milk, jump in, and update these flowing water blocks into water source blocks. Filling up the building with water, I'd say, is the least time-consuming part of this whole build. The building is rising fast. It's already growing a lot of kelp, which is going to produce a lot of bone meal. But I'd like it to be a little bit taller so that I can fit a collection system on top. I'm not entirely certain what shape I'm going to give it, but I'm thinking of something architectural, something with a nice curve. As I wait for kelp to grow, I take the time to fill in some holes and do some landscaping. It cost me nearly all my iron and a couple of trips to the mine, but I finally produced my automated bone meal generator. It turns kelp and all organic matter into bone meal. The kelp farm is shaping up, and it's pretty efficient. Every time I walk by, it feels like I need to harvest the darn thing. Luckily, I made it tall enough that if I skip it a few times, I won't be losing out on any kelp plants just because I skipped out on it. There should be plenty of distance to the top where things will keep on growing. Having a big bone meal machine like this is one of my top priorities in every new Minecraft world. One of my top tier items for starting out in any world is a big stack of bone meal. It makes farming easy, makes wood gathering easier, pretty much improves all aspects of life because you no longer have to wait on things to grow. Speaking of waiting on things to grow, during one of my explorations for iron down in the caves, a zombie dropped a potato. As I was coming back up and killing more zombies, another zombie dropped a carrot. I would have footage of this, except a power outage knocked out my footage and corrupted the file. I tried to salvage it, but there was no way of getting the footage of me actually obtaining this potato or this carrot. If you think I'm angry about that, oh, you have no idea. Fortunately, I still have the pleasure of showing you what bone meal can do. One carrot can become 24 carrots in only a few seconds, whereas if you plant a single carrot, you'll be getting back 3 carrots in maybe 10 minutes or so. The same can be said of its rugged spud counterpart. Plant one, grow it, harvest it, and plant another. This cycle repeats until you're out of bone meal, and soon you'll have a ready-made farm in only a few seconds. Bone meal is also my cure-all for my wood situation. These azalea trees that only grow in the lush caves, move cow, move cow, also grow oak wood, but I can't actually make them grow naturally. The only way is with bone meal. So I bone meal some of them up and get the better wood. Let me tell you, I've been missing this stuff. I do not like the orange color of those other trees. Apparently someone else doesn't like the color of these trees, because deep in the dead of night some maniac burned them all down. Oh well, I won't have to look at them any longer. Before I begin my next project, which is a block sorting system, I'm going to have to start digging for more iron. Luckily, bone meal can come to my rescue on that one too. By transforming the stone blocks into moss blocks, I can mine them up quickly with a stone hoe, and even get some bone meal back for my efforts. While I'm waiting for that iron to cook, I'll start on my next project, a block depot. It would help if I had some place to put all the blocks I've been digging up this whole time. I need wheat for my thatched roof. But instead of a thatchet roof, I'm going to breed cows for their leather. I can always get the wheat back by harvesting bone meal. For the next part of my organizational system, I'll need leather. Hey, does anyone else hear a high-pitched ringing? The sun rises on a new day, and I'm a different man than I was the day before. Oh well, moving on then. As I was working on the roof in the middle of the night, I noticed something peeking out of the corner of my eye. Two llamas. My first traveling tradesman, and he didn't have anything I didn't have already, except for maybe ice blocks, but I really don't need those at this stage. But he does have something I do need, and that would be two nice leather leads. Things are looking more organized already. However, there's some finishing touches I'd like to add, mostly some potted plants outside. I plan on landscaping the entire area. I'd hopefully make this entire island look nice by the time I'm done. Before today is done, I'd like to have an actual oak tree, so I go out in search of one. I found one not too far off the original sandbar I started with. Ever the conservationist, I make sure to replant it when I'm done chopping it down. Fortunately for me, it dropped two saplings, so I can replant one and take the other home. If I can find my boat. I know I put it somewhere. Oh, there it is. I'm glad I found a classic oak tree. That allows me to obtain apples from now on. And apples give me access to golden apples, a high-tier food I'd like to survive off of while I'm down in the caves. With the completion of those two projects, I'd say this video's over. I'll take a moment to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a ton, and I'd really like to do more on this channel. But for now, I'll be saying bye-bye!